What's poppin', T Squad? It's me, Keisha, and I am here with my all tea, all shade, real world homecoming LA. Tonight was the season finale episode. But before we begin, I want to remind you all that my interview with my pastor, Mrs. Trina Davis, that interview is up right now. So make sure you check it out and support. And this Friday, my interview with Cree Campbell from Growing Up Hip Hop will be debuting at 6 p.m. Central Time. Do not miss this interview. When I tell y'all she gives us so much tea, I was speechless. Y'all gonna see it in the video. Like, my mouth dropped several times. It was a shade fest. She came with receipts that I got to see with my own two eyes. It was a lot that was revealed. You're gonna be shocked. Tune in this Friday, 6 p.m. Central Time. Now let's get to the real world homecoming LA. So the episode begins with David returning to the house after production made him leave for a while because Tammy's husband Reggie came to have a few words with him. Uh Pretty much everybody that I saw on social media said that she was in the right to call her husband in this situation because David was repeatedly calling her out of her name. He kept on walking behind her back and forth like he was going to do something, kept on threatening to physically, attack her or whatever, or touch her. And like Tammy said in her review of the episode, she's been doing weekly reviews on the show that she has a lot to lose. Like, she's on several networks, on several different shows. She's on the Apple TV show with Octavia Spencer. She's on the Miss Pat show on BET Plus. She's on Carl Weber, my old publisher's television show on BET. She's on this show. She has a Fox Soul show or whatever that she was doing. She has a lot of stuff going on, and so why put herself in the position to potentially lose out on jobs and her reputation, which she's worked so hard changing after basketball wise? Why put herself in that position? Um so Beth A, is it Beth A? Yeah, Beth A's son. This is bisexual Beth. Her son Morty and Irene's nephew Gibby arrived. They're both transgender. Um, we find out that Beth A has really been struggling with her former daughter, transitioning into a boy. And I found this to be quite shocking considering that Beth is bisexual. She's a part of the community and everything. She has all these trans friends. And I just am so shocked that she has really been struggling with her daughter transitioning into a boy. And that just opened my eyes to so much. So Beth A is concerned about how their family will take the news because they're going to find out when they watch the show. Woo! I would have gave my family the heads up. I would have had a conversation before the show airs. Hopefully they did that because that's a hell of a way to find out some shit. Um, Her son though Morty doesn't care about how the family feels, but says that her grandmother probably will feel some type of way about him changing his name. I hate the name. I mean, if you gon', transition, why would you name yourself Morty of all things? And even Irene's nephew Gibby, what the fuck are these names? Like, what the fuck is going on here? As soon as she said his name was Morty, all I thought about is Rick and Morty. It was like, okay, girl, all right. Um, so he goes, Beth A and her son Morty go up to the rooftop um after talking to all the cast members, and he goes on to get very emotional and cry and says that he doesn't feel comfortable in the body that he's currently in. Like, he's never felt like he was a girl, like he's always felt like he was a boy. And Beth A finally at that moment understands him and realizes how important this is to him, and suggests that they go to therapy so she can get a better understanding of this and help her to adjust to this huge transition in her son's life. Like I said, I was truly shocked that, she of all people would have issues with this, but I guess with her, with any mother, the child that you bore or whatever halfway through life decides they don't want to be this person that you have raised would be a huge shocker, and it would probably be a big pill to swallow, no matter if you're gay, straight, or bi or whatever. But it's good that she's really working on it, listening, educating herself, asking the questions, and most importantly, just loving her child throughout this experience. So later on that night, David's still on the phone, steady talking shit, walking all around the house, steady saying shit. And I'm like, nigga, this shit has been over. Everybody that moved on and you steady on 10, sir. Like, oh my word. So John talks to David one on one on the rooftop and tells him that Reggie came looking for him. And I'm like, John, your big fat messy gobbled neck ass. Oh, he just gets on my nerves. Because at the end of the day, Reggie shouldn't have had to been called when it was your ass and Glenn ass in the goddamn house. Y'all, two men, should have stepped up and checked him. I don't understand why the fuck that wasn't done. But okay. So, of course, David gets upset by this and acts like, oh my God, I didn't even do anything. Why is she calling her husband on me? Like, I can't believe this. Like, you knew that she called her husband. We all saw it. You talked to the producers, like, y'all really gonna let her call her husband on me? You knew that the man was coming, and you knew that was why production escorted you out of the house and made you take a walk, take a lap, or whatever. So don't act all shocked about it now. You kept on calling this woman out of her name. You kept on insinuating that you were going to put your hands on her. What did you expect out of the situation? For her old ass to fight you? Like, what the fuck? Huh? It didn't even need to go to that route. I understand that you both had a disagreement on political and race matters or whatever, but it didn't have to escalate to that point where you got to calling her out of her name just from a simple conversation. Um, so he goes on to say that Tammy disrespected him and made him act ugly. Can't nobody make you do anything. You reacted the way that you wanted to react. You are in control of your emotions. So he doesn't think that the roommates have his back. He says that he would never have had his wife come up there on Tammy. I don't really believe that, but okay. Um, he then continues to call Tammy a bitch. And I'm like, this girl that went on about her day, ain't thinking about you, and you steady acting a fool. So he tells the guys on the rooftop, tells John and Glenn to leave him the fuck alone and flips them off. And I was like, and this is the problem right here, but you're blaming it on everybody else when John and Glenn ain't even did shit to your ass, and you sitting up here flicking them off and telling them to leave you the fuck alone. You have an issue. Tammy also said in her reviews that David had been disruptive the whole time, getting drunk, even when they took the liquor out of the house, begging people from production and at different venues to give him a drink, getting into it with production, this, that, and the third. So he was constantly acting a fool. So Beth S says that, she just not gonna say nothing to him anymore. And I was like, well, girl, you should have been did that. Like, we find out that they were on um day 12 at that point. They left. There was a 2-week experience, so they was on day 12 at that point. They only had one more full day in the house. Girl, you should have been not said nothing to him at this point. So David then called somebody else on the phone going off about the situation, and then he get mad at whoever on the phone because he said they won't let him talk and hangs up on it. This man was just spiraling out of control. So David then calls a producer by the name of Kevin to talk. He meets him downstairs and they replay clips from 93 where it's literally the same thing transpiring that happened in 93, which is so eerie that this was 28 years ago and life is really repeating itself. So David meets up with this producer and makes the decision that he's just gonna leave. He's just gonna leave because he says that if he stays, it's just gonna be bad, and he doesn't want that, this, that, and the third. I'm like, you got one more day. You can't control yourself for 24 hours. I felt like at that point David had gotten the money that he needed to get, and it was like, I'm up out of here, because Tammy even said in her reviews that, in the beginning of the show, he thanked her for doing it, because the show wouldn't had even taken place if it wasn't for Tammy, because the producers really wanted her, and if they weren't going to get her, they didn't even know if they were going to do that season. And so after, constantly going back and forth with Tammy, she finally agreed to do the show. And David even thanked her and was like, this is the biggest bag that I have gotten in a long time, money wise. So I think that he got what he needed, and it was like, skirt, skirt, time for me to go. Um, I think that it was sad that he didn't want to stay for the last day. Like I said, it didn't have to go to that level. It was ridiculous to go to that level. Nobody was bothering him. Tammy wasn't saying anything to him. He could have literally gone the next 24 hours without saying a word to her. And if she would have said anything to him, it was strictly, hey, I don't want to talk. Period. And kept it moving. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. David obviously has an alcoholism problem. He has a lot of demons in his life, and it seems like a lot of enablers also. So, John, while he's packing up his clothes, John comes in the doorway checking up on him. I feel like he was just low key being nosy. And David was like, he can't look at these fake motherfuckers no more. John then goes and tells the girls that David is leaving, and Tammy was just like, "Oh, okay." Beth S act like she was about to cry her a river. I'm like, are you really that concerned about this man going? He has called you Karen, bitch, this, that, and the third. The whole time he has been there. You need to be happy he's gone. So David calls his daughter and tells her that he's leaving, and she tries to get him to stay, but he was like, it's gonna be bad if he stays. I really wish he would have stayed. I really wish he would have, because this time he can't blame it on anybody else but himself. So Tammy is at the table talking to the girls and was like, nobody did anything to him. I asked to talk to him. He didn't want to talk. It could have just been, a adult conversation. It didn't have to go that far. So then Irene, punk pussy ass, her and them choppy ass bangs, in her confessional on some fake ass shit times, I thought it was pretty shitty that Tammy called her husband. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. She's so motherfucking fake. She's so fucking fake. Fake, 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 fake. Fake, 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 fake. I don't like her. She's the motherfucking Karen. She's the motherfucking Karen. Um, ain't shit about that bitch change. I don't like her ass. Fuck her. So David comes downstairs after packing everything and says, this time I'm leaving on my own accord, and says bye to everybody, and everybody say bye to him. I guess I don't even know if Tammy even said bye to him or whatever, but I could tell on Tammy's uh reviews that she honestly felt bad about how things played out between her and David, and she said multiple times that she didn't want things to go that way. So Glenn was like, he said his piece, and his out was stirring stuff up with you talking to Tammy, and I agree with him. So Irene and Beth S acting all sad and shit. Thompson, they, wanted everybody to end at the, and leave at the same time. David in his confession was like, I had more to lose than all these motherfuckers. What? What did you have to lose, sir? You gained from this situation. What did you have to lose? Nothing, huh? Then he gonna say, that's he was like, I didn't get a chance to walk out the door with everybody. That's the only thing that bothers me. Well, you made the decision. Nobody pushed you out the house. Nobody kept on fucking with you. You did that. You was on 10. So you could have went 24 more fucking hours. You chose to leave. So blame that on yourself. So the next day, the cast go to eat, and everybody was like, the energy is just so positive and different. Everybody's having a good time, laughing and talking. Glenn even says he doesn't think that Beth S is a fake person anymore, and that she's more self-aware of herself. And then the following day, the roommates prepare to leave, and everybody leaves on a peaceful high note. Beth was very optimistic about being really close friends with everybody. um I went on her social media page, and I saw that she tags Tammy and things, but she's not following Tammy, and Tammy's not following her. I know that they did press with each other for the show, so I don't know if there's any drama there between them two, but maybe it was just a situation where they weren't following each other, period. So it was like, why follow each other now? I really don't foresee Tammy fucking with none of these people outside the show except for John. I think her and John will probably continue to stay in touch here and there. But her and Irene, I don't see it. I think her and Beth S will probably stay in touch or whatever. Her and Glenn, no. Her and Beth A, obviously, I don't think they have a relationship either. But overall, this was a really good season, a really good follow up to New York. Next up would be the San Francisco cast, I believe. The cast where Puck was on the show, and I'm having a brain fart, but the gentleman that passed away of AIDS that season, that would be the next season. Pedro, that would be the next season up to do the reunion. I would really love to see everybody from that cast come back to see if Puck is still an asshole. I would love to see, instead of, because they can't bring Pedro back, but if his partner that he married was still alive, if he came to the house in his place so we could get to see where he's at now. Remember, Pedro had married a black guy or whatever. So I would love to see that happen. They have a hit show on their hands, so I'm pretty sure they're literally going to go back and do every season of the Real World Reunion. I mean, they got like 30 some seasons to go. Like, so many iconic seasons of this show. I can't wait to get to the Las Vegas cast. Baby, the Las Vegas cast was one of my favorites. Who was that? What was her name? It was an I name. It was her and the chocolate boy that was together. The season with the Miz, what was that, New York or something? Were they in New York? There was somewhere. It was like the Miz, Coral was in that house. That's an iconic season. The season with the girl with the Lyme disease, with the curly hair and the freckles, and that black boy that slapped the shit out of her. Oh my God, that season was everything. He should have got his ass kicked for slapping that damn girl. That season was great. The season with the tall black girl. This was later on, like in the late 2000s, that beat the shit out of that one white girl in that house. Child, that was the season where they introduced old boy with the one hand or whatever in that household. That was a good one too. It's so many iconic seasons of the Real World. I have literally watched every season of the Real World, even the Facebook Watch episodes, which I'm mad don't come on anymore. But yeah, the Real World is just a staple. So let me get done rambling. It is 4:04 a.m. I need to go the fuck to bed. I got not rehab. I got radiation in the morning. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell button, you guys, and let me know what you thought about the season finale episode. I would love if they would have had a reunion. That would have been yeah, that's it. Make sure you guys tune in this Friday, like I said, to my interview with Cree Campbell from Growing Up Hip Hop. It's gonna be at 6 p.m. Central Time. Love you guys. See you on the next one. Bye.